Most people buy travel insurance thinking only about getting reimbursed for flights or hotels when something happens, but there is much worse that can happen other than losing money on a plane ticket or a few nights in a hotel, such as what does your health insurance say about out of network coverage in another state or another country? If you're traveling abroad, even to places like Europe and Canada, there's a strong chance your regular health insurance provides limited or no coverage at all. Now think about this. What if you're on a cruise and need medical evacuation off a ship? Medical evacuations from a cruise ship can cost anywhere from 50 to half a million dollars. One of my favorite cruise reviewers on YouTube is Emma Cruises. She is wonderful and very knowledgeable. After years of cruising, she estimates about 1 to 7 cruises requires medical evacuation for someone on board. Without travel insurance, you're one infection, one fall, or one unforeseen medical condition away from financial disaster. In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily identify what is offered for coverage, provide you with comparison of prices, and how to easily understand where the loopholes are needed to file a claim so you won't get rejected. We're going over travel insurance tips that actually matter. So when you step on a ship, plane or train, you know you're covered. So let's get started. One great source to compare and better understand travel insurance policies is the Forbes Travel Advisor. Link in the description, I'll give you a QR code right here. The page asks you some simple questions about your trip, the duration, how much a trip costs, the country you are traveling or region you're traveling to, and a few other simple questions. One thing you will need to do when it asks you when you put down your first payment for the trip, you will need to maybe trick it a little bit if you're just looking for budgetary reasons and just put the date that you're actually looking for that insurance or the date after. There's no obligation there. You just got to trick it a bit to get the information. Forbes Advisor does a great job showing you major travel insurance providers in one place, allowing you to compare trip cancellation limits, emergency medical coverage, emergency evacuation coverage, and the actual price of the policy. This saves you a huge amount of time versus visiting an insurer websites one by one. One of the biggest mistakes travelers make is focusing on the policy price, not coverage limits like Forbes does. It does a great job identifying that for you. Many low-cost policies cap evacuation coverage, for example, to 50 to 100,000, which may not even get you home. What I personally look for is a minimum of $250,000 in emergency evacuation, preferably $500,000 for more international travel. Let's look at the Forbes website itself. As you scroll down, you can actually compare different policies side by side. Trip cancellation and interruption, but they do give the information button there to the right of each area. Here's the emergency medical coverage that you can see the difference between the three, significant difference in the $500,000 policy, though it is the most expensive. This may seem overwhelming, and frankly it is, but there's technology that can help you. Here's what I do. I use ChatGPT to find coverage gaps. Think of it as a second set of eyes before you buy. Do is you'll need to go into ChatGPT and import that file. So you'll want to evaluate the insurance policies, the loopholes, and anything that it will identify as potential issues that you may want to consider. Simply click the button and it gives you a real life, easy, plain English rundown of what the policy is and if it's a good policy. We'll give you an idea of if it's good for cruises, international travel, and where maybe some weaknesses are in the policy itself. Then it does give you some major loopholes, which is the one thing that we want. Here's how to file a claim, and you should have good working knowledge going in when you do want to file a claim because there is some documentation that may be required and you may not be able to get later or it's going to take a significant amount of work. So if you know that going in, you understand what documentation you'll need. Here's the gaps area. That may be some things that you might want to consider depending on the type of trip that you have and an overall idea of what ChatGPT has found. Now you can actually take two policies, save the second policy, and add it to ChatGPT as well, and ask it to compare those two policies Maybe there's one that's $20, $30 more, and you just want to know what the policy is and the differences are between the two. So here it gives you a thorough breakdown of what these two policies are and very strong recommendations on which one may be more suitable for you. The nice thing about this is it is found that the prime cover gives you more clarity and guesswork. There's no ambiguity in any of the verbiage that is in the policy that quite honestly may get you rejected on a claim. And of course, there is cancel for any reason coverage, as we talked about. That may be something if you wanted to book a cruise or some type of trip far in advance. Maybe something comes up, you can cancel for any reason. The medical coverage portion between the two, pre existing conditions, trip interruption delayed between the two, how many hours, what would trigger that, baggage, political natural disaster evacuation, and so on and so forth. Quick tip about booking your flights through a cruise line. Booking through a cruise line usually costs more, but if there's a delay on your connecting flight, they'll work with you to get you on the ship, even your next port of call if necessary if you miss embarkation. That could be a big advantage when you fly out on embarkation day to your cruise. Now, this is a part where most people skip and where claims get denied. Understanding key exclusions. They hide in known events, weather definitions, mechanical breakdowns, alcohol related incidents, and adventure activities like parasailing, water sports, climbing. Quick reality check. Safety standards aren't always the same as they are in the US or Europe. I personally know of someone who lost family members in a parasailing accident overseas. And if the worst that can happen, travel insurance can get your loved one's remains back home. Without coverage, tragedy is often compounded by tens of thousands of dollars in those costs. If you don't review the policy, you're guessing. Final thoughts. Forbes Advisor is a great starting point, but not the finish line. Don't buy travel insurance based on rankings alone or lowest price, short summaries, or box you check at the end of your favorite website to book your new trip. Focus on medical limits, evacuation coverage, your specific needs of actual policies. Some policies actually give you cancellation for any reason. And if you book something far in advance, you might want that, but you're going to pay a premium for it. Trip interruption details is something else, and always read the fine print. If this feels overwhelming, a travel agent may be a smart choice, especially for international trips and cruises. If you found this helpful, hit like and subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're traveling next. I'm Greg Phillips, and I hope this betters your life and makes your next trip all more enjoyable and relaxing. And that's what this channel is all about.